I'm your host today. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You've got Patrick Goulet here, Senior Director of Partner Marketing for Aquia. I'm so excited about this special edition of Aquia's monthly Bootcamp and to get in front of this amazing partner community again. Today's topic is chock full of D9 insights and competitive scenarios intended to drive any partner growth and their Aquia practice. We know that it's end of quarter for many of you, and we appreciate you taking the time to connect. And for our returning partners, thank you for coming back. And to our new partners, I say, welcome. Oops, my slide is not moving. There we go. Welcome. We hear you in Berlin, we see you in Sao Paulo, and we are on demand in Japan. This is truly a global community. We'll be joined by a cast of Aquia subject matter experts and even some of your partner peers today who are dedicated to sharing insights and education to drive business and to keep you ahead of the innovation curve. Before we dive into the topics, I want to address some housekeeping to get us rolling. Remember, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You get it. We're sharing some secret sauce today. Please help us to keep it that way. We'd like to encourage some dialogue and chat. We're seeing that chat already. Would like to see the discussion tab fill up throughout, so our moderators and even our technical expert, Emily Lanoy, is here and standing by for your questions. We encourage you to stay through to the end for a quiz and a survey to receive a prize. Many folks are feeding that guilty Amazon Prime habit, so that's awesome. We'll be sharing the recording and resources, and they'll be made available in our newly updated marketing hub within Aquia Academy. And finally, next month's session is already scheduled for July 15th. Stay tuned for topics and how you can get yourself registered. Our agenda kicks off with an exciting announcement and a special guest cameo. We'll dive into the rest of the session in deep dives around Drupal 9 and making the urgency for your customers to migrate. Aquia has the tools to help you lower your project costs and avoid common pitfalls, and we're in the business of making you money, which means more room for innovation and services. Our Drupal cloud experts, Kara Hall and Maggie Schroeder, will also provide hot competitive insights. Following the visionary, we'll tour our recent and successful deployments that may inspire your next transformation project. Today, we welcome Jeff Reed and Terry Anderson from our PS organization, along with our partners at MediaCurrent, who just pulled a rabbit out of a hat. You don't want to miss out. And as I mentioned, stay through to the end for a chance to feed that guilty Prime habit left over from the pandemic. And no, I'm not talking about Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. We've also had a great response to the Bootcamp survey. Please consider sharing feedback in order to make these sessions even more valuable. This quarter, we heard folks asking for more win scenarios, more compete details, and more solutions in the wild. Ask and you shall receive. So without further ado, let's dive into some content. I was going to tackle this one myself, but I had a special guest reach out to personally deliver the exciting news. Special guest, do you mind revealing yourself?
Absolutely, Patrick. Hello, everyone. I'm Lynn Capozzi, CMO of Aquia. Super happy to be talking with all of you today, and I'm thrilled to be able to announce my absolute favorite time of the year, which is our customer and partner conference, Aquia Engage, which will be virtual this year with a bit of hybrid, which I'll talk about, October 26th and 27th. And today, actually, we're also announcing the opening of Aquia Engage Award submissions. So lots for us to talk about. Let's talk first of all about kind of the reasons why Engage would be right for partners. And kind of also want to talk a little bit about what's different this year. So there's many, many reasons why our partners, I think, should attend. And we do offer limited sponsorship opportunities. So if you're thinking about it, please talk to your team quickly so that we can move forward on the sponsorships, because they do sell out pretty rapidly. So we really think that it's a great opportunity to deliver value back to the community for partners. So, you know, a couple of the top reasons why: you'll be front and center with the brightest minds and the most respected thought leaders in digital marketing and customer experience. We're packing the agenda with great customers, with great partner stories, and we want to see you there. You'll be able to spend time and swap ideas with business and technical decision makers amongst all of Aquia's customers. You know, you'll help our leadership and sales teams gain a deeper understanding of what you and your organizations bring to the community. You'll be able to stay on top of the latest developments and product roadmaps from Aquia and our strategy. And really, you'll be able to boost your profile in the Aquia partner community. There's lots of partner enablement will be going on, new investment opportunities, even for practice around certification. So let's talk about what's new. So what's new in this year in 2021, you know, for potential sponsors, I want you to know that I heard your feedback. from our last Engage digital experience. So this year, it's not just about sitting in a virtual booth and waiting for traffic to come, waiting for people to come see you. We have much more this year. We have expanded demand and lead gen programs. We have the opportunity, actually, we are going to have some in-person regional events that will correspond and go along with Engage. So there will be an in-person component probably in 6 regions in the United States, and we'll look at other countries as well. Some more enhancements this year include meeting booking tools, early platform access, premium rooms for lightning talks, and speaking and relationships building with Aqueous sellers and account leaders. And I want to see some partners up on stage with me. Very thrilled to be able to announce our Aquia Engage submissions. It's one of my favorite programs of all. It's an opportunity to highlight both partners and customers and the great success that we've had together. So let's take a look. Okay, well, those are the categories. It's a little bit more exciting when the music actually plays with it, but you can imagine music in the background there around the Engage Awards. So submissions have opened up and have started. We've launched the site today, so make sure you go take a look, engage.aquia.com, and please help us and participate in the submissions. If you're interested in sponsoring, the sponsoring team is standing by. So please email partnermarketing@aquia.com. And please do it soon, because as I said earlier, our sponsorships do sell out pretty rapidly. So thanks for the opportunity, Patrick, to be able to talk to our great partners today.
Lynn, we are so overjoyed to have you join us. Thanks so much for the quick cameo. Your check is in the mail. All right, everyone, we're going to kick it on over to our competitive program. Sorry about the sound on that video. I was enjoying a great soundtrack over here, so apologies that you weren't getting to enjoy it at home. We'll make sure that we include that in the follow-up email as well. So now we're going to kick it on over to our guest, Kara Hall, from our product marketing organization for Drupal Cloud. Kara, thanks so much for joining. What do you have to share with partners?
Hi, Patrick. Thanks for having me today. Today I'm going to be covering Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 and why that migration can be challenging. So why am I covering D7 to D9 migrations? Aquia has 517 ACE customers that have at least one D7 application, and we have 40 customers provisioned on our migration tool, Aqueous Migrate Accelerate. Then, out of the total Drupal market, there are 2,541 users still on Drupal 7. Partners like you can help bring these customers, these 2,541 customers, to Aquia so that we can help them and use our migration tool to help them speed up their migration. We have client and account teams on standby to help with this. So what does all of this mean together? This is a huge market opportunity to work with our current Aquia customers and our Drupal users on their D7 to D9 migrations. And with Drupal 7 being end of life November 28 of 2022 and Drupal 8 being end of life on November 2nd of this year, 2021, now is the time to start talking to your customers about their migrations and their migration needs. So why do customers performing a D7 to D9 migration need a great partner like you? Drupal 8 significantly changed the way content and configuration is stored in the database. Because of this, an update can't simply be applied to an existing Drupal 7 site. Instead, the content and configuration data from the Drupal 7 site must be migrated to a new Drupal 9 site. Furthermore, not all contributed modules have automatic upgrade paths. This may require a manual or custom migration. Drupal 9 significantly changed how themes are structured. These changes can't be migrated. Instead, a theme must be rebuilt to work in Drupal 9. Although there are automated tools available, setting these up can still be a complex process. All of this together can result in a complicated and very time-consuming migration process. So there's no need to worry about it though, because Aquia can help partners like you migrate customers off of D7. So let's dive into the setup of how Aquia can help partners assist with their customers' migrations. So we all know the common questions we hear from customers around D7 to D9 migrations. How can Aquia help move from D7 to D9? How does Site Studio help with D9? How much does Aqueous Migrate Accelerator cost? How does IDE help me get to D9? What services does Aqueous provide to help me get to D9? How does Aqueous hosting platform compared to Pantheon, Platform SH, etc. when it comes to D9? Well, the answer is always the same, and we are happy to answer those questions for you. But you know that your most successful customers are looking at the big picture when it comes to their migration, with the big picture being how to get the most innovative version of Drupal and how to drive the greatest ROI from their Drupal application. From migrating to securing the application to the enhancements they need to make years down the road. You want to help their migration be successful, but you also want to set them up for long-term success. We can take a look at how those questions fit into the bigger strategy on approaching and on the approach to adopting D9. So let's take a look at each phase of a Drupal application. Of the 5 phases of a Drupal application, which we can see are migrate, build, run, enhance, and extend, migrate is just one small piece to that larger puzzle. Then each part of those phases have multiple personas that either have to contribute or need a sign off for each of those phases. And then when it comes to the phases and personas coming together, you need a solution that can help you at every step of the way. And Aqueous is the only Drupal solution that can help at each phase and with each persona. With easy to adopt, we have Aqueous Migrate. We have easy to get started with Aqueous CMS, easy to build with Aqueous Cloud IDE, easy to run with Aqueous Cloud Platform, easy to enhance with Aqueous Site Studio, and easy to scale with Aqueous Cloud Site Factory. And as you can see, we have something to help at every step of the way. So now, one more slide, Patrick. We can take a deeper dive into Aqueous Migrate to see how we can help with customers' migration needs. So Aqueous has 3 products to help with migrations, but today we are going to focus on Aqueous Migrate Accelerate. AMA, or Aqueous Migrate Accelerate, right, can speed up a customer's migration by up to 80% through leveraging an intuitive UI and a comprehensive migration setup built by Aqueous Drupal experts. Aqueous Migrate Accelerate is the only tool available for accelerating that migration from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9. And as I said previously, it can help accelerate that migration by up to 80% faster. Some of the customer benefits are advanced migration UI on top of Drupal's powerful Migrate API. It lowers the barrier of entry for performing content migrations, and it has an Aqueous provided migration workspace and Aqueous best practice knowledge baked into it. So AMA helps partners through speeding up all of these aspects of a D7 to D9 migration. It can speed up your analysis and planning by up to 50 to 75%, your DevOps by up to 100% faster, your data import by 25 to 100% faster, your BizLogic by 25 to 50% faster, and your presentation by 50 to 80% faster. This makes it so you, the partner, doesn't have to do a complete rebuild for your customer's site, but can simply migrate it from D7 to D9 at a much faster pace. AMA can help reduce your customer's pain by up to 80% by shortening each of these phases as seen through the little dial slide, or this slide just helps put it into more of a timeline so you can get a greater understanding of how much faster it is using AMA. So as you can see, we have those previous times that were in gray. We can shorten them down to the pink times, which is much shorter in the long run. And now that you've potentially helped your customers using Aqueous Migrate Accelerate, you can show your customers that Aqueous has the next step into helping them get started easily with Aqueous CMS, and then further on down with each of the following steps by offering the complete picture for them, not only just that small migration piece. So if we're just to quickly compare to other Drupal hosting platforms, some of them only help with 1 or 2 of the phases. For example, that Aqueous Cloud Platform, they're only helping on that phase. And from this slide and the other slides that had this same information, you can see that Aqueous is helping at several of the steps and the different phases and for each of the different personas. So lastly, just wanted to remind one more time that Drupal 7 and Drupal 8 are end of life. Acquia at their two respective different time points there. Acquia is offering extended commercial Drupal support through 2025, but that migration's now and it can be challenging. So I'll pass it back to Patrick to intro the next person.
Awesome. Kara, thank you so much for the insights and for the technical tips and tricks. I did see a comment in the chat about seeing an AMA demo, and following the recording of this session, everyone will get a follow-up email, which will include a video. Is that correct?
Yep, we'll send a demo in that video through that email whenever it goes out.
All right, fantastic. Kara, thank you so much. We're going to kick it over to your colleague, Maggie Schroeder, to talk a little bit about our competitive insights. Maggie, what do you have to share for folks today?
Yeah, Patrick, thanks so much for the intro. And I've got a lot to share. So if we'll flip on over to the first slide. I mean, Acquia has had a lot of innovation in the past year even, right? We've doubled down on all of our investments in, a ton of our products to capitalize on, again, the value we're providing to all personas that contribute to digital experiences. So if we start off with the developer experience, you're going to hear a lot more in the next quarter about our cloud-based developer experience, and specifically our cloud IDE. And so you'll see over here, of course, Kara just walked us through the amazing innovation with AMA and how we're helping customers to accelerate their migrations from D7 to D9, which is typically, right, involves a lot of developers. We're making it way more simple, allowing our development teams to use more of their junior team members. But we've also launched, and if you haven't heard yet, definitely check out our webpage on it. But the cloud IDE, so our integrated development environment, 100% cloud-based, gets up and running in, again, less than 5 minutes in most cases. So super awesome for our customers. And it has built-in Drupal optimized workflows. And so it has things like Xdebug built in for, again, debugging Drupal applications. Super cool, all built in out of the box and built by our Drupal experts in-house, people like Matt Grasmick, who presented in the Dries Note this year at DrupalCon. And of course, AMA was actually built by Angie Byron, better known as Web Chick in the Drupal community. So again, we've got Drupal experts really working towards, and Drupal developers really working towards making our developer experience that much better for, again, our customers. But of course, we can't forget about our marketers, right? I'm a marketer myself. And so always interested in making things easy for marketers to contribute content at the end of the day. And so if you haven't seen it yet, and I'm sure you have live, right, there's a ton of demos out there today on acquia.com of our low code site building solution, which is Site Studio. And so again, we are the only company on market that has a low-code solution for Drupal and a low-code solution for digital experiences at scale, and for the enterprise, right? Think Wix and Squarespace, but that's not enough for our customers, right? They need the enterprise functionality, they need security and performance to back it, and that's what Acquia brings to the table. So again, a lot of innovation on the marketer end, and of course, doubling down on our investments in our marketing cloud as well, delivering an amazing CDP that we've seen a lot of customers adopt over the past year. So again, great innovation for our marketers. And then finally, of course, we haven't forgotten about our IT operators, always trying to make it easier for IT teams to deliver digital experiences that perform. Of course, delivering our Cloud Next platform, which is the next iteration on our cloud platform that supports all of our customers, and delivering a platform that can literally scale from thousands to hundreds of thousands of page views for our customers. And, we've done this before, right? There are many customers that we've supported in delivering. I think one of the best customer examples we have, they actually delivered experiences to over 3 million live viewers. So crazy amount of scale that we've been able to support, and we're just continuing to double down and iterate on our platform to make sure it is being supported by the most modern technologies. And of course, never forgetting about security and compliance that all of our customers require, right? We're seeing that come up more and more. So Acquia is always committed to making sure that we have the most secure and compliant platform on the market. So Patrick, if you'll flip to the next slide, actually, we've really boiled this down into a couple different advantages that we have for our customers. So we've been supporting Drupal 9 since Drupal 9 was released, right? So again, really the reason why I want to emphasize this is that a lot of hosting competitors, right? This is the competitive session. They didn't support Drupal 9 until fairly recently, right? And so we're going to make sure as a company, right, that we support the latest version of Drupal the moment that it's released, right? Drupal 9 came out, Aqueous supported it immediately. And we made sure that our customers, if they wanted to upgrade the day that Drupal 9 was released, that we supported their mission. And of course, there are many others. I mentioned a bunch of the points that we have up on the slide here, right? Effortless content editing with low code, having a community of Drupal experts again. So I mentioned Angie Byron, Matt Grasmick. You've probably seen them in a ton of DrupalCons, right? Those Drupal experts are immersed in every phase of delivering our products. And I think that that's just so unique to to Acquia rather, right? We've got Dries. I actually just had Dries on a meeting, yesterday, right? See him from day to day. He's fully immersed in our products, the delivery of our products, and of course, delivering value to our customers at every phase of their application lifecycle. So, again, we're really committed to not only helping our customers, but also committed to Drupal and delivering value to Drupal and giving back to the community that ultimately supports all of our customers here at Acquia. And then finally, I mentioned again, optimized developer tools. So making sure that our customers have access to the best way to innovate with Drupal, delivering sites at scale. So making sure that our customers, as they grow, we can help them to grow, right? We're uniquely positioned at Acquia to provide a solution that not only helps our customers scale, but also helps, as you scale, there is more content that needs to be created, more governance that needs to be implemented. And so, of course, we're offering a solution to our customers with Site Factory and Site Studio that's enabling again, our customers to innovate faster. You've probably all seen, the case study with Bayer, where they were able to deliver 500 sites in less than 6 months. That's an insane amount of scale, right? So again, Acquia uniquely positioned to deliver that type of scale and also make sure that it's all governed, all within brand guidelines, all within site governance. Awesome. And then, of course, we're invested in the future. So one of the things I always like to talk about, right, when we talk about hybrid CMS, Dries has been talking about hybrid CMS since 2015. There's actually a blog, if you look it up, if you just Google Dries's blog decoupled, you'll come up with a blog from 2015 where Dries starts talking about the future of decoupled and the future he was envisioning. I think I can't remember the exact terminology he used, but it painted the picture of a hybrid CMS model, right? The ability to deliver, again, an architecture that supports both coupled and decoupled architecture, all within again, one unified platform. And so Acquia is really doubling down on our commitment to help customers like you've seen the webinar on Pack 12, who's delivering a great decoupled experience, and the MTA as well, right? So we're really doubling down and we're uniquely positioned to help our customers really take advantage of the future of digital experiences, which we see as hybrid CMS. So again, a lot of great advantages here with Acquia and a lot of unique advantages as well that other hosting providers, right, they can't offer. They're offering bare bones hosting at the end of the day, whereas Acquia is really helping our customers deliver experiences. And I think we've got one more slide, Patrick. And, just again, to sum it up, right, we've got some of the most innovative organizations in the world leveraging Acquia, and you've all helped us deliver those experiences, which is so awesome. And so we hope that, with Acquia and with all of the innovation that we've rolled out in the past year and all of the innovation that we're going to continue to roll out, throughout this year and the next, and continuing on into the 2020s, that we can continue to onboard, again, the highest level of innovation for all of our customers and continue to support them with a cutting edge team and also cutting edge partners, all of you on the on the webinar today. There's a ton of you on here. I know that I've spoken to, a fair few of you. Would love to talk to more of you about how we can help more of our customers to innovate and support more of our customers with, again, our in-house Drupal experts, and also all of you Drupal experts who have joined our call today, and really continue, again, to help deliver these innovative experiences. So Patrick, that's it for me today. Would love to hear, if you have any questions out of my session in the chat, feel free to drop those in. Would love to answer those. I'll make sure that, I'm online to answer those as they come in. So thanks, Patrick.
Perfect. Maggie, thank you so much for joining. And I can personally attest to Maggie's ability for a street fight. I've seen her get into many great conversations with partners to help bring wins over the line. So just a reminder for folks that we will share the deck around. The contact information for both Kara and Maggie will be included in the deck. And so thank you both from the product marketing organization to take partners so deeply to heart. There we go. So as we mentioned at the top of the call, we wanted to talk about the visionary, the theoretical, the competitive insight side of the world. Now it's time to see the proof in the pudding and to see the actual deployments and success out there in the wild. I am so pleased to see Mr. Jeff Reed join us today. And Jeff, you've got a tale about an account that we've been watching for many years now with Nestle. What do you have to share for our partners?
Sure. So thanks for the intro. I've been with Aqueous for almost 8 years now in the professional services organization, and my role is really to be here to help customers and partners find the right services to make them successful on the Aqueous platform. And Nestle is one of those great examples that we have. We actually have relationships with 13 different entities, including the regions of United States, Canada, Germany, Japan, brands like Nespresso, Purina, Waters, cereals. They use our Site Factory product, cloud, personalization, CDP, and CDN. So they have a very broad footprint. We do a lot of work with Nestle. I had the pleasure of working with Nestle Canada as their organization wanted to transition from an old Drupal 7 site hosted on Rackspace. Their site was not performant. It was really hard to update. It restricted their ability to innovate, and they recognized that Drupal 7 was end of life, and they wanted to get to Drupal 8 at the time, but by the length of the actual project, Drupal 9 was where they ended up in the end. So they understood that getting to the latest version of Drupal meant they would take advantage of enhanced functionality included in core. They would be able to take advantage of any new innovations that were occurring in Drupal 8. There would be performance improvements just in the base core application to begin with. And from a developer perspective, onboarding was much easier and more accessible based on the new architecture and approach of Drupal 8 and Drupal 9. So the other thing they did was to really take advantage of Aqueous Site Studio to speed up page and content creation. They have a small marketing team that needs to create pages for brands on the fly. They have a variety of different brands within Canada that they support. And as we all know, retail brands need updates and they need them fast. So Site Studio was super helpful to them. Nestle Corp itself has a managed Drupal distribution they call Lightness. They run both a Drupal 7, Drupal 8, and a Drupal 9 distribution that they keep up to date. It includes additional features and integrations that are specific to Nestle that helps their different organizations, and Nestle Canada really wanted to take advantage of that. So what did we do with that? We added Site Studio and Aqueous personalization to Nestle's Lightness distribution and developed out their entire site. We created templates with Site Studio that would allow the marketers to easily visually customize between the brands without having to go back to their developers to update code and other templates. And then we also migrated the content and the assets into the new application architecture. They just launched a couple weeks ago, and it's been a great success, and we're really excited to see another Nestle area in their organization come on to Aqueous. Thanks, Patrick.
Jeff, thanks so much for popping on today and for sharing these insights with our partners. Again, it's really just amazing to see an account like Nestle and the opportunities that this has made for many partners, but also for Aqueous, and to see the continued success. So thank you again. From the world of coffee, snacks, cereals, we head on over to the world of developing those products in the agricultural world with Sygenta, some science leading bits there. We are joined by Terry Anderson, our senior project manager on the project. And Terry, I think you've got some really positive results for another longstanding client. Care to share?
Indeed, yes. Thank you, Patrick. Yeah, basically, Sygenta was a project that we've just finished working on, and it was a story of bringing a customer along on the journey again. Once again, Syngenta's been an Aqueous customer for quite some years now, and we built the original D7 platform for them 5 years ago, and that's been really successful for them. They wanted to continue with Aqueous, but as Jeff's just done a really great job of referencing, there's a whole load of technical advancements that come with moving up to D9, as well as Syngenta wanting to future-proof their experience. So kind of before we get to end of life, and then it was a great opportunity for them to do some updates based on their learnings as they've been working with their platform over the last 5 or so years. So as PS, we came in to basically help them get started on that, because they've got an internal team, but we came in to kickstart the process, to help them get the foundations set up, and to align them for the migration process. So, get them to the point where they can then forge forwards on D9 and be as successful as they were on D7, if not more so. So that's the kind of the summary. And if you go to the next slide, what we've got really is just a few takeaways from that process, because as you go through this process, as Cara mentioned, there's lots of bits and pieces that go into the middle of this, but some key bits that we kind of thought as we were going through this, I wanted to share with you. The first one, this is one I didn't realize up front, but it was really valuable that we brought the development team along with us, because D7 is a different beast to D9. Obviously, it's still Drupal. And if you've had a really successful development team working on the D7 platform, it's going to be instrumental to the success of that platform as it moves forwards, that you bring that team along with you. You migrate the team as well as the platform itself. So we actually integrated their dev team into our team as we built, which meant that we could effectively train and upspeed and involve that team in all the technical decisions as we were going as well. So at the point where we finished our kind of initial setup and helped them create the foundations and migrated that first site, so they were all ready to go, their team was already up and running and kind of ready to rock moving forwards with it. So that's just something I would really recommend. I mean, I know we're talking about migrations quite a lot here, but don't underestimate the effort of the migration. And by that, I mean the actual process of moving one site to the other, because there's the build and then there's the migration piece itself. And there's all kind of facets in amongst this, just from developing the migration tools on top of Aqueous Migrate. Still needs some development, and that can take some time to really make sure you get apples come out as apples on the other end of the process, as opposed to anything else. The customer's got quite a lot of involvement as well, just from testing, making sure everything's in place, coordinating with their customers, understanding what the requirements are of that migration. So Sygenta is a very active platform, so we needed to tailor that migration to a system that's meant that there was very limited content freeze time, for example, on the site. So, all these things need to be taken into account. Even going down as far as making sure customers factored in appropriate time for review and audit. So one example is that within D7, there's certain situations where, for example, some content might show to the front end user, which is fine, but then D9 sees that differently. So as you migrate it, if the audit hasn't been done, you might suddenly find people getting upset because content's in a different state. So it's just making sure that the customer is really aware of the effort they're going to need to put in as well to make this all really successful. Just another quick thing we did was, there's a lot of rebuilding in this. So even if you are running a migration, so use it as an opportunity to evolve the platform, to evolve the designs, to kind of build just that bit more effectively or efficiently or performantly as you rebuild this code, because you are going to be porting modules and things. So why not take the opportunity to make the customer even more successful as you do so, basically. And then particularly if you built the original platform, hey, learn from the first time around, learn from how you improved it. Every developer and every person building something knows, the first time around is the most painful, and then the second build is always infinitely more performance, scalable, intelligent, because you've got the learnings of the first time around. So it's a great opportunity to just make customers even more successful and deliver even more powerful platforms. And then just a note from the PS team, as Jeff said, we're here to help customers and partners be successful in this process. So if there's any value to you, we have both migration discovery and implementation packages available, which you can always reach out to us if that's of use to you.
Fantastic. Terry, thank you so much for joining. We really look forward to the continued success here and hope that you've got some news to share on the next round of iterations with Sygenta. So cheers and thanks again.
You're welcome.
We're going to do a slight pivot and introduce something relatively new to the Bootcamp series, where we get to profile a partner and a successful win out there in the wild. Really happy to be welcoming MediaCurrent to the table today with Mr. Josh Boltz. He'll be talking about a significant D9 project with one of those big four accounting firms. Josh, I know you've got a little bit to share, and I'd love to learn how big and how fast one of the big four can go.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Glad to be here. Yeah, so really quick, I work for MediaCurrent. We are the open source expansion partner. Basically what this means is that we help organizations that want to elevate and advance their open source digital experience. We do this by aligning our partners' business goals and needs and solve them with open source technologies. And then I would like to tell you a little bit about myself in the next slide. So I'm an architect at MediaCurrent. Which means I'm still mostly focused on Drupal development, but I'm also getting more involved with other technologies that can complement Drupal builds. As you can see, I mostly reside in either Pennsylvania or South Carolina, depending on the time of the year or where we want to be at a certain time. And that's one of the main perks of working at MediaCurrent, who offers a 100% remote opportunity. And next month, I will be at MediaCurrent for 6 years. So time has been flying. So into the talk about MediaCurrent and how we work with Aqueous and this big four accounting firm. This big four accounting firm, they employ over 250,000 employees around the world. So scalability was definitely one of the main keys. The firm's IT team needed to support internal business groups to quickly deploy new sites through the platform. Using Drupal 8 and Aqueous Cloud Site Factory, the team was able to achieve that goal and successfully launched more than 100 websites from a single code base. With Aqueous Cloud Site Factory, it's a breeze for these power users to spin up new sites. And these new sites that they're creating can be spun up from one of 4 installed profiles. But keep in mind, it's on a single shared code base. So it's just one code base and you get a whole bunch of sites, pretty much as many as you need due to the scalability of the platform. Each of these profiles contains slightly different configurations and features depending on and focused on the kind of use cases that these business units need for their own websites. Since this is a single code base that's shared across all of these sites, it's also worth noting that there are also shared themes that go along with this. And there's an admin theme, a custom admin theme we use, and a custom front-end theme. So it's worth noting, and this will come into play a little bit in the Drupal 9 talk I'll be getting to, that we use very heavily component-based theming and atomic design principles and patterns using Pattern Lab, which helps reduce the code duplication. It improves the efficiency of the component integration through code reuse and standardizations and whatnot, and it accelerates the overall development efforts for the Drupal 8 build and of course the Drupal 9 build, because we're still continuing to support that as well. So it just makes it really easy from a theming end to be able to reuse components across these sites. It just speeds things up a lot and reduces the amount of regressions you get when you're changing something. And I also wanted to touch really quickly on the deployment processes. So this is basically a case where we do some work, maybe creating a feature. We create a pull request that gets merged into the main branch. There's a Jenkins job we have that triggers a deployment of that code up to the Aqueous Cloud Site Factory through the Aqua Cloud APIs. So that just adds a little bit of automation to our processes and removes, some of the manual work that might otherwise have been needed. Automation is always great, and it definitely helps speed things up. So yeah, the last thing I want to mention really quick here is that Aqua Cloud Site Factory also, provides important features like automated database backups. For those times where something does go wrong when you're pushing up code and you have to kind of completely revert things away, you can easily back up from an older or previous database. So yeah, to the next slide. So for this big four accounting firm's IT team, Aqueous Cloud Site Factory and Drupal 9 were a big win for agility, security, and brand consistency across these 100+ sites. I touched on a couple of these bullet points in the previous slide. So for this one, I want to mostly focus on the Drupal 9 upgrade process and give you a high-level overview of the process that we took while updating this. And we did launch this back in March, but we started this whole process back in 2020. But the biggest chunk of the Drupal 9 upgrade process is going to be updating all the custom and contributed modules and packages across the site. So the first step in seeing what that effort looks like is performing an audit on the code base. So you want to, one way you can do it is pulling down Drupal check tool into your code base and running Drupal check on the custom modules, the custom themes, the contributed modules and contributed themes, and just making sure that every one of those packages is Drupal 9 supported. The other piece of this is making sure that those modules, themes, profiles, everything are Drupal 9 supported through Composer's eyes, meaning that it will, when you flip the switch from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9 in Composer, that it's not complaining about any of these packages being not Drupal 9 supported yet, because that is a big blocker. So this is actually one of the things that if people are actually considering switching to Drupal 9, which they should be at this point due to the end of life coming up for Drupal 8 in November, it's a really good idea to start reviewing your contributed modules and basically the packages on your site and making sure they're all pretty up to date, or at least updated enough that they include the Drupal 9 support. Or else you're going to have to be rushing around a little bit when you actually start having those discussions and starting that whole process. There are, aside from the packages, there are also some other requirements that you need to consider, like the Drush 10 upgrade. You need to take care of that. There's some Symfony changes depending on kind of which version of Drupal core you're upgrading to, and it's actually recommended to go ahead and update to Drupal 8.9 ahead of, considering the Drupal 9 upgrades is going to be the easiest transition with various things, updated kind of ahead of time before you make that final switch. Going back to the last slide where I spoke about the theming a little bit, there are also changes around Twig 1 to Twig 2 with Drupal 9. So having a component-based approach where it's very compartmentalized, you kind of only need to make one of the changes at one or two places, and you don't have to really scan every single file to track things down. It should be more easy to find where you need to make these updates. And for this specific project, we were using Pattern Lab, like I mentioned, so we actually had to upgrade our Pattern Lab instance to support Twig 2, which was very seamless of a change. And finally, essentially, like one of the once all of the requirements for Drupal 9 are satisfied and everything in your code base is basically Drupal 9 supported, then you're in a good spot to make that flip the switch in Composer from Drupal 8 up to Drupal 9. And hopefully you get a build of Drupal 9, and then you kind of push forward through that and see what kind of errors exist in the database logs and whatnot, see if there's any other errors or issues you need to address before you're actually in a good spot to go ahead and upgrade and launch that upgrade. So overall, media current development and deployment processes and standardized approaches paired with the Aqueous Cloud Site Factory, scalability and flexibility made for a pretty seamless Drupal 9 upgrade for this leading accounting firm. I will go ahead and post a blog post that I've published, I guess about a month ago now, which kind of, highlights some of these items that I've discussed in this Drupal 9 talk that could help people with their auditing processes and different things that you can look at doing in preparation for moving to Drupal 9. In closing, I just want to say Aqueous Cloud Site Factory empowered non-technical team members to customize and maintain new sites by developing a site factory platform with the tools to spin up new sites on demand. The firm has effectively created their own open source software as a service. Most importantly, their team was able to scale quickly and efficiently and allow for minimal hurdle and a seamless upgrade to Drupal 9. And Media Current looks forward to the continued partnerships with Aqueous. So thank you very much.
Joshua, what a great, oops, sorry about that. What a great story. Thank you for joining. We do hope that you'll keep us posted and updated as this customer starts to add even more sites and more functionality, but starts to grow and mature between the partnerships. So kudos and thanks for sharing the spotlight with us today. Great work.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be on the lookout for that blog. Well, folks, that starts to conclude everything from a program perspective for the bootcamp today. We had a great amount of chatter coming through. I see some chats coming through. Want to make sure that folks are aware of the discussion board and to take a moment to answer some of those competitive and sales inquiries. We have product marketing, we have professional services, we have technical experts standing on the line to address any of those burning questions for Drupal 9, migration, or competitive intel. So we'll go ahead and leave this open for a little bit before we just address next steps and our quiz. So we have a couple of comments here. Most folks quite a few folks looking for some technical resources and some technical demos and series. We can certainly accommodate with some weekly demos, and we'll start to factor that into maybe our boot camps as well. Let's see, we've got Vipin here asking about practical demonstration of migration using AMA, or if there's any videos or reference of the migration stuff. Maybe Kara or Maggie, one of you can help to support that question.
Hey all, this is Emily. I am the product manager for Aqueous Migrate Accelerate. I'm going to drop in our documentation into the chat. And we also have a demo video that we can send out after. Yeah, and then we'd also be happy to meet with specific people to, provide a demo and answer questions for anyone who's interested.
That's great. Thank you,
Yeah.
Emily. It
Oh,
looks like
sorry. And I'll just add in, Patrick, too. Like a lot of the partners that are on the call today worked with us on AMA. So it's super exciting and I just wanted to give a quick shout out, to everyone who's on the call who helped out with AMA project. And then of course, Emily is always there to answer questions. Same with Kara. They're the leads. So PMM and PM on the Migrate product. But as I mentioned, right, Angie Byron actually created this. She's got a really fun story. So definitely, check out all the demos online, but of course, always feel free to reach out to us about that.
It's great insight. And again, a nice kudos to the partners that contributed there. Emily, let's keep you on. It looks like there's a question from Akmal. It seems that migration API is relying on Composer in the process. What if the site initially not installed using Composer like we are using in D7?
That's a great question. I will need to follow up on that. Yeah, I can take that back and get the specifics. I don't have the answer readily available, but I'd be happy to get it.
All right. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Akmal. All right, we got a question about Engage. Is there any information to be shared about Acquia Engage 2021? I was told there would be news on this call. Well, anonymous attendee, you did miss the opening, but we will share the slides. We will share the recording. Acquia Engage is now live as well. So if you head to engage.acquia.com, you'll be able to find all the latest and greatest on the experience, in addition to how to get more information about sponsorship, Engage Awards, and our call for papers process as well. As you are anonymous, though, if you'd like to pop a question over to the panelists with your email, we can certainly reach out directly with more info. I've got a question here from Vipin again. Is it right that BLT is going to be decommissioned soon? Emily, I think that one might be for you.
BLT isn't a product that I work on, so I don't have the details on that. But again, I'd be happy to get that information and follow up.
Yeah, and Vipin, I would say that, for BLT, we'll definitely have, if I don't believe I've heard anything on my end, but, for end of life at Acquia, I mean, you've seen our process, right? We'll announce it. And typically the reason we end of life something is if we have something in replacement. So again, I mentioned that Matt Grasmick is working on really innovating in the developer workflow area. So if there's any news in that realm, of course, we'll make sure that we get that to you all, again, as our trusted partners first, and make sure that you've got, early access to that type of news. So as far as right now, I would say BLT being decommissioned, that's more of a rumor than anything. And once we officially announce, we'll make sure, again, we bring that type of news to you all as partners, and make sure that there is a plan for any of the end of lives that we hold, right, to migrate to the most current solution. I think you've all seen that online with a lot of our products in the past, and how we've, again, helped make sure that partners and customers have a very clear path to the most updated product. So thank you for the question. I think it helped us address, again, our process here at Acquia. So thank you.
Cool. We still have some continued technical questions coming in. So Deepak Mali asks, can AMA help for non-Drupal to Drupal 9 migration, e.g. AEM to D9?
Yeah, so actually, Emily, I can take this one, I think. Aqueous Migrate Accelerate only helps with Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 migrations. If you're looking for a tool to help with a non-Drupal site to Drupal 9, we have Aqueous Migrate Replatform, which helps you move off of a non-Drupal platform to Drupal. So that's a separate tool that we have that you can utilize for non-Drupal to Drupal migrations.
Thank you, Kara. Deepak appreciates you. We've got a question here from Xavier Mirabelli Montan. Thank you for joining. Can you migrate a D7 site into D9 with AMA in Site Studio components?
Yeah, that's a good question. So our recommendation for the D7 to D9 migration is, as Kara mentioned, and as all of you who are familiar with the migration probably know, once you migrate from D7 to D9, you have to rebuild the front end theme. So we recommend migrating all of the modules and content, or sorry, installing all the appropriate modules and then migrating the content using AMA, and then using Site Studio to rebuild the theme. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's our kind of recommended workflow with AMA and Site Studio.
I can add a little bit more to that, and also answer a question in the chat. So Aqueous Migrate re-platform can be used by partners too. PS can help you figure that out. In terms of Migrate Accelerate, it's going to move over all your data and content types and structure that you have now. Then that will just leave you with the minor task of updating any custom modules and then using Site Studio to redo the front end for you.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Emily. Nice tag team there. We're going to go ahead and take one final question and then start to move over to the next steps and quiz here. One final one, Vipin, you are so hot in the chat today. Thank you. Does Aqueous Migrate Accelerate tool have a feature to migrate the images from Drupal 7 with no media module enabled to those Drupal 9 fields using media gallery capabilities?
Yeah, I can answer this one. So unfortunately, I would need to come back after meeting with the team to get detail on specific module, like specifics of your question. But we are really excited about our media migration capabilities. That is something that the team has worked really hard on vetting the migration path for media. So Vipin, let's connect offline. I can email you and try to get your specific questions answered, but that is one thing that is a big value add to our customers, is the media migration.
Right on. We're going to sneak two more in. Just to clarify, does AMA work with Site Studio, Emily?
I'm reading the question. Yeah, I think this would be another one that would be better for me to answer offline and to get more kind of clarity on the question. So I'd be happy to send an email after the call and get into specifics and go back to the team and make sure that I'm giving the most up-to-date answer.
Yeah, I also think part of that, right, is that we need to separate, right, the presentation layer from the content and data that's being migrated. So I think, Emily is going to be a great resource offline. Like, I feel like there's definitely some follow-up conversations to be had and, actually getting our hands on the product. So definitely reach out after this, or we'll reach out to you to make sure that, we can get your hands on the actual product so you can see how that works, specifically with Site Studio too, because that's a huge value add when building out the presentation layer of a D9 site. So cool.
Right on. Thank you for your insights. We'll go ahead and take a look at our attendee list today and look at the chatter here and make sure that we connect Emily, Maggie, Jeff, etc. to those that had more inquiries than we were able to cover. So without further ado, we're going to close things out with our quiz. But before we do, just want to make sure that everyone is top of mind thinking about those D9 opportunities. So use that deal registration, connect with your partner manager. The time is now. We will follow up with the AMA demo video. I know there was a lot of requests there for technical resources. We hear you loud and clear, and we'll start to think about how to factor that in either to this enablement series or to another. And in fact, next month, you'll have Mark Royko joining from the practice certification team to talk a little bit more about how we deeply enable your technical teams and certify those practices. We do want you to fill out your feedback form and in your attempts to win $50 in cold hard cash and in your local currency. And we do also want to provide the link to reach out for sponsorship details for Engage. Our team is standing by. You'll get a follow-up to register for the July 15th Bootcamp. We are so excited to align that session with our Q2 program increment. So tons of great features across Drupal Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and our DXP, including tons of new tech partnerships that we'll be announcing as part of that increment, and a ton of other great features that are sure to not only make partners more successful, but also more money. So without further ado, I want to thank all of our speakers today and our hundreds of dedicated partners. You'll see a quiz that's now come up on your screen if you want to take a couple of moments. And I will say sayonara and thank you.